Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. 2 lives in a week. I know it's just crazy this week, but you know what? I thought might as well. And the reason we might as well is because this is kind of fun. This is two teas that are basically exactly the same. One is strip black tea. One is a ball rolled black tea. It sounds a little dirty, but it is not at all. And it's for tea nerds. So you can see here, this is the black tea. It is lightly rolled, and this is basically the exact same tea, but as a ball rolled oolong, just like that. And these teas are both really, really, really nice and really, really, really affordable. And those watching YouTube just saw the fireworks. It is extremely affordable, these two teas. They are really, really, really affordable. And excuse me, they are from Chilai. This right here is the Chilai Mountain Oolong or the Chilai Mountain Black. And I'm also going to put it side by side because this thing's like twice as expensive as these teas. They're from sort of the same area, and I'm going to put them side by side. I've already done this sort of put them side by side. There is a difference. We'll talk about the difference between them. There is a difference. I did blind taste with my ever suffering, more and more expert wife. She's taken on the role. She's doing actually a really good job, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it's easy to tell the difference." But we will go through that, and we will see the difference between the super premium tea and then the teas here that I could lie to you and say they're super premium and charge like 5 times as much as I do for these teas, and uh, and I won't. But these are really good teas as well. Absolutely. I've been looking to get some tea, but have no idea where to start. So, all world fragrances. That's a big question. Please let me know if I can help with your questions. I think the best thing to do would be to ask a question, and then I'll know exactly where you are in your tea journey. And then I can help you start. Now, what are we looking at here? We are looking at 3 teas that are black teas. This is from last year. And this one I would call last year. This is the Alpine Honey Red. This is the Alpine Honey Red, and the same tea. And they're all from sort of the same area, which is the Chilai Mountain area, and they're all from about 2,000 meters above sea level. Now we'll see it, and we'll go through it. For this one, it is like super premium. It's the Chilai High Mountain Black. It is the tea that is the favorite black tea of a lot of people. This is the favorite black tea of a lot of people, huge amount of people. And this one as well is a favorite black tea of a lot of people. I've been getting emails. People are like, where's the Louis Red? Where's the Louis Red? I need it. Like it's my favorite tea. Until the winter pick comes through and we can see if the winter pick worked out better than the springtime pick. This is an okay one to tide you over until sort of November or December when that tea is released. It's good. It's a good tea. It really is. And but we're going to go into that. Yeah, that should be good enough. Just making sure. I want to make sure that there's the right amount to make it fair. But at this point in the game, after having sampled thousands upon thousands upon thousands of teas, a couple grams here or there probably doesn't matter that much. Now, what makes these teas different? Lots and lots and lots of black teas in the world. Lots and lots and lots of black teas. But what makes these teas different is, well, 2 things. One, they're made with the Chin-Shin cultivar, right? So the Chin-Shin cultivar is the equivalent of the Japanese cultivar that I do not know the name of. I believe it starts with an S. Perhaps somebody in the comments watching this later, or somebody knows, you let me know. It's like 90% of Japanese teas all use the same cultivar. In Taiwan, the high mountain teas, 90% of the high mountain teas use the Chin-Shin cultivar. In the lower elevations, very, very, very few people use the Chin cultivar. And if they do, they oftentimes call it like runs, or they have different land races of different sort of lower elevation teas. And when I say lower elevation, I mean less than 1,000 meters. So down below, you're getting more like Four Seasons oolong. You're getting more sort of these types of teas, the Jinshrens and these types of teas that are sort of lower elevation type of teas, right? That's in Taiwan anyways. You're getting much more of those. But in the higher elevations, you're getting those. Now, if you're watching this, you probably enjoy a high mountain oolong from Taiwan once in a while. And if you're watching those, you know that high mountain oolongs in Taiwan, the vast majority, 90%, are made with the Chin cultivar. Right? They're made with the Chin cultivar. And they're usually made into oolongs because that's the market and people make more money from the oolongs. These are black teas made from the Chin cultivar. Well, this one, I mean, it's ball rolled. So, I mean, it's probably technically a black tea, but because it's such a high elevation, I call it a red oolong. And we get to that, the difference between those in a minute. I'm a fan of Pu'er oolong and a couple of others. Received some from a friend, and she got me hooked. One of them was called Everlasting Impressions, and I haven't found anywhere else to get any. Well, Everlasting Impressions, that is a term that a name for a tea that I will not be able to help with at all. That is definitely a special tea for just wherever you bought it. But tell me some of the taste characteristics or what you enjoyed about the tea, and I can point you in the right direction. I try and stay away from those types of names just because sometimes you use sort of names like that. But generally speaking, I stay away from those types of names just because the wonderful people who are generally speaking tea nerds that buy tea from me sort of want to know exactly where it's from, and they like having it in the name. But tell me the flavor characteristics of the tea that you enjoy, and I could definitely point you in the direction of a Taiwanese tea that might be able to, knock it out of the park for you. Now, why don't we get into these teas? I have already bought a bunch of this. So I bought a bunch of this tea. This is, see, we're talking about names. I might just call it Alpine Black. It seems kind of a waste, but I might just call it Alpine Black. The problem is this guy over here, which I'm sure I'll buy again this year, is called Chilai Black, and they're sort of from the same area. Different gardens, but sort of from the same area. So anyways, I'll figure it out. Here we go. Black cherries, malt, high elevation smoothness, no bitterness and astringency to speak of at all. Now, again, if you're going to drink these teas, don't drink these teas this way. Don't do it. Just unless you're really excited about evaluating teas, then you can drink your teas this way. But in general, you shouldn't be drinking your teas this way. I'm going to go to the site and see what speaks to me. Go for it. If you have any questions on the site, please let me know. I would suggest getting like at the Old Master Dong Ding for a roasted tea. One of the high mountain oolongs, we have tons. And if you want like sort of a black tea or a darker tea, then the Chilai High Mountain Black is a good one. But those, that'll give you, and we have really good scented teas. The Gardenia flower oolong, the pomelo flower oolong, magnolias. Anyways, we have really good scented teas. I didn't think I would ever say that. When I first started out, I did not think I would ever say that I had really good scented teas. I did not think that would happen. But it turns out that I am not an expert on what other people do, but I would say for Taiwanese teas, I am probably the best source of real flower scented Taiwanese teas in the world. I don't know. Should I ask an AI about it? I don't want to, but I've got some really good ones. Anyways, go for it. Any questions? Just throw them in the chat. Now, one of the reasons why this is not let's just go, we'll do this quick. One of the reasons why This is not the super, super, super premium tea. Although, I mean, I could sell it that way. It's a really nice tea. But the main reason why it's not super, super, super premium is in the back end of this, there's still a little bit of greenness. There's still a little touch of greenness. There's a little touch of like oolong green in the back of this, right? One, it is smooth all the way through. It is just, it's just a premium experience. This has a year on it. And when you put them side by side, this has also a touch of roast. Now, I knew that, but I didn't really know that. And I'm realizing that the premium on this might be the touch of roast at the end. See, not everything premium is really good. Like look at these cups. You know how hard it is to get that last little bit of tea at the bottom of this cup? It's so hard to get that to drink it. Anyways, I took it out the other day because I had a huge group of people come through the shop, and I was like, ooh, fancy glasses. Anyways, it's a face cup. Cup. Teacup. And so when you're looking at this, it has a year on it, right? So I don't usually even worry about the fresh version of this tea. I just wait until October to buy it. And this is a fresh version of this tea. So you know what? I might experiment with this tea. I'm not going to release it yet. I'm going to let it sit in the heat for a while, and I might actually just give it a touch of roast, experiment with it. I don't think it'll beat it, though. The soft cherry peach of this particular tea is this is the Chi Lai Black, the soft, beautiful roast, soft, beautiful, peachy cherry fruit of this tea. I don't think it can be beat. And this is a beautiful tea. It's an absolutely amazing, awesome tea, but right away you can tell that peachiness and that back end is just not there. But you know what? I'm going to experiment. I'm going to experiment and see what I can come up with. Overall, this is a perfect example of what I talk about often when you talk about the percentiles, right? So when you're looking at something that is like a 99 percentile when it comes to tea, that cost is exponentially higher. The curve is just like, just right. So you've got a tea that's the 50 percentile, it's going to be 100. And then the tea that is the 99 percentile, you're looking at 2,000, 3,000% higher, like 20, 30 times. And you're looking at the same thing here. These are very similar teas. They're great, but this tea right here, because it is that, I wouldn't call it 99 percentile. Depends on the year. Depends whether you're. Anyways, it's a percentile above this, a standard deviation above this one. We'll call it a standard deviation above this one, and the premium on that is, double, triple the cost. Let's go to this one. Now, this one, I'm letting it sit sort of on purpose because I haven't decided whether I'm going to get it or not. And I probably will, just because I can call it something different. The Alpine Honey Red. But I'm curious to see just how different it is. Again, I'm not exactly sure. Like I should phone up my buddy and just be like, are they the exact same tea? Did you do everything exactly the same way? What about the roast? What about the differences between, were they different days? All these different types of things. Because the same material made these two teas, I think. And again, I'm not exactly sure. They're both fresh. And I haven't had them side by side yet to really deep dive into the difference between the two. Because, again, the title of this video, of course, is Same Teas, Strip versus Ball, which, it's the internet. I had to make it a little bit dirty, a little bit risque, right? But we're going to see whether, for the tea nerds out there, whether you enjoy the name and whether you think it was worthwhile to call it that. And right off the bat, it's different. It's different. And I think the difference between them will be the extra manipulation, which brings in the extra fa xiao. I think we should start. We should practice using fa xiao as an English word, because in Chinese, fa xiao is both oxidization and fermentation where they should be together, because you can't really have one without the other, right? You can't really have one without the other. If you're oxidizing something, there's fermentation going on, right? If you're fermenting something, there's just, except for GABA, there's oxygen involved, right? You're getting stuff going on, and you could do like oxygen rich or oxygen limited and blah 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 blah. But I think we should start using the Chinese word fa xiao. So for the rest of this stream, I'm going to use fa xiao, which is the Chinese word for this, for the idea of oxidization and fermentation of the leaves. The fa xiao of this tea is more than this one. So you say, so this is the black tea, right? So we're talking about the black tea, and we're talking about how in the back end of this, I was getting a little bit of sort of a greenness, right? And there's a little bit of a greenness going on in the back end of this black tea, which means if I experiment with roasting, you know what? I might be able to create something special with it. And with this one, I am not getting that greenness. The upfront fruit flavor is much stronger. It is much deeper. It is much immediate. It's much sweeter. And I apologize. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to open this because I can't handle dealing with this with the face cup anymore. I'm getting a good cup. I apologize. I'm just gonna get a good cup here. But you can see the tea liqueur in here. I'll put the tea liqueur in there so you can see the color. But I can't do it anymore. Can't do it. And so there's more fruit flavor. There's also almost like a tartness that's coming in the back end. Again, these are very, very fresh teas. These are made in the last week. And so they're not one of the secrets of making teas. I actually have a buddy who always goes out of his way to tell me, I like you and I know you're good, so I'm giving you fresh tea, especially the oolongs. Because when an oolong is freshly made, you've got about 2 weeks of there being an edge, a freshly made tea edge. Roasted teas are notorious for this, right? So if you have a freshly roasted tea, there's an edge to it. Now, if you've had thousands of teas, if you're one of these people that have done what I've done, then you're able to tell whether or not a tea is really, really, really good, even if it's freshly made. And it's a skill that you have to develop over time. And it's also a skill that pays off, because say, for example, if you're up at the farm and tea is coming out and it's freshly made tea, you buy it right there, you are going to get a much cheaper price than if you wait a month or 2 months. And you're not going to get the best tea. So it's a skill that I've developed over the years, right? To be able to know the difference between what a tea is going to be like in 2 weeks after it's made and what a tea is like when it's freshly made. And so there is sort of a little bit of a tartness to this one here, which is, is going to be, it's going to go away. It's going to go away with time. And you know what? I don't even think I finished my thought. Why there is a difference between these two teas. Anyways, the point is that when you create a tea that is strip like this, it's actually pretty easy. Think of green teas and black teas and things like that. You would manipulate the teas and then you put it in a big roller and you just let it roll and roll and roll and roll for a while. And then you're like, okay, we're done, and you dry it. Right? Sometimes people will let it sit and oxidize and ferment a little bit more, facial. But most of the time, people just like they let it roll and roll, they let it sit for a bit, and then they just dry it. It's really efficient. The ball rolled stuff, though, is much more labor intensive. And it also involves piling the teas and letting the tea pile a bit. And oftentimes they'll wrap it up and let the temperature inside the teas raise a little bit until the right smell comes out. And then they finish rolling. It's much more labor intensive to roll it into the balls. And so what I was saying before about this tea is that you've got this a little bit of this greenishness on the back end, which is also a little bit floral, right? Right. It's not like it's all bad. There's also a little bit of floral in there, like a little bit lighter colored floral. When you do the ball rolling, there's more manipulation, more time, and so the facial lasts longer. Right? It lasts longer. And when you're up in the mountains, when you're up at 2,000 meters above sea level, it's kind of chilly. It's kind of dry. The wind just flows through, and it's a great place if you have a lot of time and patience to make teas. Now, that's one of the reasons why the high mountain oolongs are so good, is because there is this, because the weather, like in the why is Taiwanese tea so good? Tea masters, the end. And when you're up in the mountains and you're saying, okay, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? It's there. Go. And then they start rolling and dry the tea. It is too much to too little. That thing up in the mountains, it's like this. You got a bigger space because it's not moving so fast. In the lower elevations, because it's so hot, it's so humid, that space is here. And so you oftentimes can miss it. You know, you're like, oh, not yet, not yet, not. Oh no, it's there was, to give you an example, there was a type of apple. I remember when I was working in the apple orchards in Kelowna, BC, there was a type of apple that was, I think it was called like Sunrise. Anyways, it was a newer variety. And you could make this huge amount of money from this newer variety of apple. But the newer variety of apple had this catch. And the catch was, for like a Red Delicious or Macintosh or one of the other older cultivars of apples, you could pick it within a week and it'd be fine. You didn't really have to worry about it. But this one particular apple, this new one, I think it was called Sunrise or something like that. And again, this was like 20 years ago, right? So 25 years ago. 25 years ago. I think it was called Sunrise. And it was this newer version. And it only had this really, really light time period. And a lot of the farmers who were growing this apple, they had this problem where they couldn't tell the difference between not ripe enough and too ripe. And if you pick an apple that's like one of these apples that's too ripe, when you bite into it, it's all sandy, right? It just wouldn't make very much money on it, because the context was you had let it, it was on the tree too long. And so you just kind of got screwed, because that would just go to the apple juice people, even though you could make a ton of money if you picked it right in the right spot. It was just very, very narrow. And so that's the same thing when you're making an oolong. When you're up in the higher elevations, it takes a heck of a long time. But that window of making a good tea is wider. Now, to make a perfect tea, very, very narrow, obviously. But to make it a decent, good enough tea, it's much wider. Whereas in the lower elevations, because during the facial, again, oxidation fermentation process, it goes so fast because it's hot and humid. You have this very, very narrow stretch. And so that should be like a blog post or something. I don't know. I think I should. So in the summertime, I'm going to be going back to Canada, and I'm going to be having some, hopefully, as long as my children don't anyways, as long as my children can figure out something to do, I should have a bunch of free time, and I'm hoping to do a bunch of things. Basically, have time to do both videos and blog posts. Maybe I'll start a Substack, but be able to put out. I'm gonna create a bunch of content, hopefully during the summertime, if my children are old enough not to bother me all the time. But that type of insight is something really, really useful if you're a tea nerd and want to understand these types of things, how teas are made. Now, obviously, I cannot tell you why the right time to make the tea is the right time to make the tea. I'm not a tea master, right? I can't do that. That basically takes generations of knowledge and doing it every year forever. The fireworks went off on the. I did not mean for the fireworks to go off when I said I'm not a tea master, but it's fitting because I'm not a tea master. I cannot make a decent quality tea. No, that's not true. I can make I can hand roll a black tea and make a decent quality tea. I can do it. I can definitely hand roll a black tea and make a nice tea. But that type of I'm losing my English. Knowledge, insight. There we go. Knowledge that you would only get from somebody who has had the experiences that I've had tasting the teas that I have, is kind of important to understanding sort of the whole idea of why a tea is the way it is. But the market for it in Taiwanese culture, if you want to do something that's really small, you go like this. That big. The market for that is that big. That being said, I don't think anybody else is doing it. So I should start making more of that type of content. So to go back to what we're looking at right here, I bought a bunch of this tea. It's super, super cheap. I'll probably call it Alpine Black. It is the cheaper version of the High Mountain Black, or sorry, the Chilai Black. It's from the same area, but I mean, the Chilai Black is just a different experience. It's a luxury experience. Now, the difference is not as big as, say, for example, the old Triasomica versus a tea bag. That's worlds apart. But when you're looking at this type of stuff, you're looking at where the price premium is. And so this I can sell, pretty cheap. Whereas this I cannot sell pretty cheap. It's impossible for me to sell that cheap. And so if my children are going to ever eat more than wild vegetables they pick in the park, it's another world. The peach, cherry, floral nature of this tea is just another world. But this is still really good. It's still really good. And it's one of those teas that somebody like me, I can experiment with. So like I was saying before, and I knew that they put a roast on this, right? This is the Chilai Black. I knew that. But I didn't quite know how much roast they had put on it. And now that I'm drinking this, which is not roasted at all, it's just dried and basically sent to me. The guy who does this, the Alpine teas, he gives me really good prices. And he's super excited because I'll buy his stuff. I'll just buy it. He'll send me and I'll be like, okay, give it to me. He doesn't make that much stuff, right? He makes some, but it's not that much. But he'll just experiment with something, and if I like it, I'll buy it. And so it's quite fun. It's quite fun for me. And I think he's happy. So anyways, the point is that he finished this tea, he sent me a sample. I'm like, gimme. And he just sent me a bunch of it. And so this tea will, I'll be able to experiment with it because I got such a good price on it. And it's a great example of a various parts of Taiwan. They call this a small leaf black because it's made with a Chin-Chin cultivar. And for some reason, Chin-Chin is small leaf. But the point is, this is a great example of that. Now, he doesn't call it a small leaf cultivar because he's at such a high elevation that anybody who knows anything about tea knows that it's a small leaf because that's the only thing that grows up there, right? You can't grow Jinchuan or Ruby 18 or whatever up there. The only thing you grow is a cold tolerant Qingqing Oolong. And so that's what this is, and I'll be able to experiment with it because it's kind of cheap. I'm not going to experiment with this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it in bags and sell it. If I mess up the experiment, I'm in big trouble. I lose a lot of money. Whereas this, I'm going to roast it. I might even try and do like, the Pear Mountain Black, right? So that's roasted heavily. Now that's roasted by charcoal roasted. But you know what? I might try and roast the heck out of this and see what happens. Like just like, I don't know, a kilogram of it, and see if I can create something like that. But that's going to be fun for me when the weather cools, when the weather cools down a bit. And so that's sort of what we're looking at. I'm going to buy some of this as well. This will be the return of the Honey Alpine Red, the Alpine Honey Red. And it's sweet and good. And I'll tell you, if you're missing the Louis Red, this will tide you over until the Louis Red comes back in. Acacia Roast. Well, I mean, that's one of those things too. I mean, I don't know if I want to get into. So the Acacia Roast is the family up in Taoyuan. And they do their own roast, and they use the acacia because they've got a lot of acacia trees up there. So they use acacia charcoal to do that roast, and that roast is different than the other roasts, right? Because most of the time the other roasts are using the other roasts are using the longyan, the dragon's eye tree fruit charcoal. And so the acacia stuff is a little bit lighter. It's a little bit sweeter. It's a different flavor. And I don't think, I mean, what acacia's got DMT in it, right? I don't think it gets you high, but it's got that little bit of an interestingness to it. And it's not a bad suggestion. Now, the point is, do I want to get into that? Do I want to get into experimenting to the point where I'm going to buy tea and then send it up to somebody and be like, experiment with this tea, and if it doesn't work out, I don't know. I don't know. That's a gamble. Now, I'm a gambling man. I'm not rambling, but I have been in the past, but I'm a gambling man when it comes to teas. Now, do I want to take that big a gambling? Do I really want to, take $1,000, go up and pay somebody like a couple $1,000? Or Taiwanese dollars anyways. Maybe. It's a good idea. You'll be like the tea alchemist? Yes. And most alchemists died of mercury poisoning? I don't know whether... I don't know, maybe... Could I turn it into gold? I don't know. I mean... I guess I theoretically could start sending it out to various places and see what happens. Like, for example, there's my buddy. I really got to go see him. He's such an awesome guy. But there's the guy in Dongding or Dongdingshan, right on Dongding Mountain, the Dongding town, right beside the pond, just up from the pond. There's my buddy up there who does the charcoal roasting, and oftentimes, like he's part of the Sioux clan. He married into it. Anyways, the point is that that anytime anybody ever goes to Dongding, they always go see him because he's the charcoal roasting guy. He's the charcoal roasting guy. That's who he is. And I could send it to him and see what he did with it. He's a roasting master. You're giving me all these ideas. You're giving me all these ideas. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. And I gotta go to the other side of the island. I just need to hire somebody, right? it'd be a lot of fun. It really would be. It would be a lot of fun. But I really do have to hire somebody. I'm still, my wife and I, we still do everything for this company, which is um, my oldest. He's 13 now, my oldest son, and he's starting to realize what the heck me and his mother have pulled off for this business, and he's starting to realize it, and he's quietly impressed. But I really should hire somebody and be able to take some time off. But anyways, I think that's about it. To recap, Chi Lai High Mountain Black is still the premium tea, just the premium tea. This is the Alpine Honey Red. I'm going to order some of it today, and I probably won't release it until I get back in August, but I'm getting some of this tea, the Alpine Honey Red. Then over here is the Alpine Black that I will also get. So I'll be getting this tea, or I've already got it, but I'm not going to release it. I'm probably going to experiment with it and leave it and do some stuff with it and have fun with it. But I've already got it, and I probably don't even think I'm going to pack it up. I think I'm just going to tie it up and just have it go and sit in the hot summer and get ready for the release a little bit later in the year. Does the Chi Lai have more of the red fruit cherry compared to last season? This is last season. So 2 years ago was probably the best black tea I've ever had for the Chi Lai High Mountain Black, and that had cherries and peaches and like everything. This year is the 2025 version of it from last year, I guess almost a year old now. And it's still really, really good, but it's not quite as good as that one. But the 2024 was just amazing. 2025 is really, really good. It's not quite exactly as good as that year, but it's still really, really, really good. And we'll see what happens with this year. You should be proud of MSC. Well, it's not about being proud about it. It's like I don't have any other choice. I had to do it, and I loved it, and it was great. And I'm wildly appreciative of everybody who supported us over the years to be able to pull it off. I got a message from somebody the other day. They sent me a lost package or whatever, something I can't remember. But they were like, wow, thank you. I'm just so happy I got a real person. And so I think there is this lack of personal connection with things, and so I mean, I'm happy. I'm wildly happy to be able to do that, to still have that. But yeah, that's about it for now. Any last call for questions out there? For sure, all the customer service is AI chat bots now. Yes. And it works both ways. There was I got a nasty message from some nasty person the other day, and I literally said, "Here's your refund. It's best if you don't buy from us in the future." Thanks. Like doop. So it works. It works both ways. It works both ways. The chat bots are probably nicer, but if you're nice to me, I mean, it's wonderful dealing with the people that I deal with on a regular basis, right? It's amazing. I just love it. But yeah, the chatbots are taking over. But anyways, I think that's about it for now. I appreciate every note with each order. I just write the same thing like every time, but I do write it. Anyways, I'm going to go and have my lunch. So wherever you are in the world, I certainly hope you have a wonderful morning, evening. I hope you sleep well tonight. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. Have a wonderful day for the rest of today, if that's where you are in the world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next live stream. I'm going to go enjoy my lunch. See you next time.